200 million tons. Regarding the scenario in India, India's scenario, if you see, we cannot say that it is too much alarming by seeing some isolated figures. Like we expect the surplus production in wheat, sugar, fish, milk, etc., and deficit in rice, pulses, meat. In the case of rice, I can specifically tell the deficit is just marginal as per our projection, is not very high. If everybody shift to wheat eating culture, then sometimes rice becomes a surplus. Vegetable oil, meat, everything will be in deficit. So this is an alarming situation. So what we should do, we should increase agricultural production. What is the difference between production and productivity is there? Earlier I told there will be a lot of people will be shifting to urban areas, and population when it increase, their housing will increase. The area, more and more area will be taken over by housing for housing projects, and agricultural area will come down. So we should increase food from less area, more food from less area. That is what productivity means. Food, a production per unit area is called productivity. We should increase productivity. Then only we should be able to achieve high production. So what is the usual strategy? Usual strategy is first thing which we come to mind is go for irrigation. Good irrigation should be provided. The infrastructure is required. Infrastructure means just like cold storage, other new different projects are there. Cold storage, solar power is required, and this type of things. Then next is agricultural research. This is a very, very important. This occupies a very important position, because through this research we will be able to generate technologies which will provide a solution to achieve higher productivity. And different inputs. That is another way of increasing production. That is add more fertilizers and other chemicals, etc. What are the different constraints we are facing to increase agricultural productivity? First is shrinking of land area. That I already told. Our land area is shrinking because more and more population is becoming less usable. You are used for agri. And then climate change. Climate change is in easier terms. We can say that it is increase in temperature and erratic rainfall. Both are not favorable for our agricultural production. Of course, among the climate change factors, carbon dioxide quantity will increase. That only favors agriculture production productivity increase. This is a very big topic to discuss in a different forum, because a lot of complicated things are there which are interlinked. Then price fluctuation, which affects farmers' return, and low productivity. Low productivity due to many factors, like land area is less, and how to address this solution. I told earlier, agriculture research is the solution. Agriculture research means it will develop technology to produce more. So let us have a small discussion about some of the important terms. Like technology means it is an application of scientific knowledge for achieving, for some practical, developing some practical solution. These are nothing but some methods, systems, or devices, or tools, etc., by applying some scientific knowledge and for some generating some practical solution. And the smart device is another thing we should know, is any device which works more or like the camera. These are actually layman's terms I am telling. These are not exact scientific definitions. So let us see our discussion on our topic of today is smart farming. Smart farming is one of the technologies which is being considered as a solution to increase the food production or increasing the food productivity. Smart farming, in many definitions are there. I am just listed out some important points. It is a precision farming. It is a precision farming method. Precision farming means, what is precision farming? I will tell you. Using the modern technology. Modern technology means it's generally considered as ICT technologies. For what? For increasing quantity and quality of the products. A precision farming means nothing but so what is required for the crop precisely, that we will apply. That is called a precision farming. So I earlier I told you about the Green Revolution which happened in India, in Punjab, UP, and North India. Food production, crop production increased manyfold because of the application of the chemical fertilizers. And what lured the farmers is they understood that if we increase the food nutrient application by 50%, our food production will increase high. So next day they increased the nutrient application doubled, 100% increase, then 150%. Like that indiscriminate application of nutrients and water resulted in many side effects are there. Environmental damage is there, and crop production also did not increase beyond a limit. So what the crop required in exact quantity that now we can work out. There are some technologies in ICT by which we can work out exactly what is required for the crop, and you should apply exactly what is required. So all these things are done in smart farming. Precision farming is the precise farming. So that, and ultimately, by doing precision farming, yield actually increases. I will explain all those things. The smart farming, the main components of smart farming in a broader sense, we can say that IoT devices, then softwares for mapping and data, because field has to be mapped properly. Then some sensors are required to collect data real time from the field. And of course, IoT device means consisting of sensors only. Then of course, internet and machinery, mainly the intelligent machineries are required for doing some automatic operations. So all these things are depending based on nothing but data. Data we have to collect from field, the data collected from agriculture. These are to be analyzed in different ways. So fortunately, our computer science and statistics are coming up with more and more algorithms, better algorithms to draw information from the data. Data is available, or data is collected from the field in different forms. First one is satellite images or other images. The images we take using drones, mobiles. All these data are images, and these images actually contains a lot of information within it. So fortunately, we have a lot of algorithms to draw information from these images. Like I said, take an image of a leaf. It contains its greenness. Its greenness shows many things. Its greenness may show that even show what is the age of the crop, the conditions under which it has grown, like whether it was grown under high sunlight conditions or dark conditions. And another thing is the shape of the leaves. So many things are there available for that. Images, we can draw a lot of information. Then other data like soil data, the nutrient status, soil properties, then weather data, that is climatic conditions under which the crop is grown, like temperature, humidity, etc. Then what are the management practices we are doing? Agronomic operations, like at what age we apply nutrients, at what age we have the pruning, such type of things. Pest and disease, everybody knows that what are the control measures we have adopted, when the diseases happen, why the disease happen. When crop biometrics yield, like means these are mostly field research, like we measure the total leaf area, number of leaves, height, weight, etc. Then market-related information, available information, genetics, huge data is available in agri, which have been collected over different years, but most of them are not available in a usable form. And there are technologies to analyze this data and deploy the solutions for the farmers, collect data, etc. These are the terms I think this group is very much familiar, like cloud computing, big data, machine learning, and other things. These things I'm not going to explain. But the cloud computing is actually, you know, why it is important, because we have to collect a lot of information from different fields at the same time. And this huge data, this mammoth data will be collected, and all this should come at a single point where it is analyzed. So in cloud, we developed some algorithms, and the solutions will be deployed, mostly some say predictive analysis or image analysis. So we deploy the solutions in the cloud, and that solutions can be deployed, so can be reached to the farmers or other clients for operating such a mechanism. Cloud computing is very much essential. So big data, you know, the Internet of Things, web technologies and all. Because this gathering is very much familiar with these technologies, I'm not going to explain. And so by analyzing this data, the output we will be getting will be used in the field in different ways. So VRT and site-specific management are very important terms. VRT is variable rate technology and site-specific management. VRT is actually a technology by application by using robotics. So in a field, each plant's requirements are different. So as I told you, precision farming is very precise application of nutrients or water or any other inputs required for the crop. So VRT means each plant will be analyzed separately and each plant will be given the required quantity of whatever it is. So for this only I told earlier, we need a mapping of the field and the robotic type of application. For all crops, we cannot apply this one. Some crops are planted in a specific in a row and column type of thing, and some specifications are required. But this yields a lot of better results, VRT, because initial investment may be high, but ultimate benefit is very high. And site specific is actually the precision is somewhat less. VRT means individual plants we are giving attention. Site specific individual fields. We select the fields maybe 20 by 20 meter feet field size, like that. Field size will be individual fields will be selected separately, not individual plant. This type of technology is called a site-specific management, and more effective plant protection. Because in Kutanad, you might have read in the newspaper. Kutanad rice fields, the drones fly over the fields and identify the areas where the rice crop is affected with the brown plant hormone. Some brown discoloration will be there. Then in the second flight, or only those portions will be sprayed. So minimizing the chemical application, that will result in a better environment protection as well as input cost also will be reduced. And better monitoring of animals is another important aspect. This has been in the field for long back. Some international institutes like International with International Livestock International Livestock Research Institute in Kenya has developed this monitoring of animal system long back. Actually, each animals will be in their ears. Some sensors will be implanted, and through that thing we'll be able to monitor the animals. This in Africa. This they have been practicing in some places. In fisheries sector also, very precise application of oxygenating the water, and that many technologies are already has come up in the field. And as I told that all these smart farming technologies are by analyzing the lot of data. So we can use another term also, digital agriculture, for the smart farming system. And it ultimately results equipping the farmers to solve their problems by providing advice. Advice is the main thing, but you should understand that a sizable percentage of the farmers may not implement these solutions due to many reasons. Because one thing is, many farmers may not get to the advice by some means or other. Indian farmers, I am telling. And implementing this advice also may not be possible in many cases. So we are actually trying in a different level now, because advisory levels may not solve many problems most of the times. That is how the smart farming system becomes more important. I think almost 20 minutes are over, so I will just rush through some of the important portions, such this type of general aspect, and before we enter into some used cases. So another aspect of digital agriculture or smart farming is mechanization of farming and allied activities. Mechanization means almost all operations are mechanized, and in fact it is automation, not only a simple mechanization. Some automation also, some intelligence will be added to the machines. Mechanized puddling, seedling. Puddling, I don't know many of you are knowing or not. In rice fields, this mud, that mixing of the mud, everything that is called the puddling, seeding, transplanting, such operations are there. And some specific operations in hilly agriculture and and such type of things for enhancing the efficiency of existing agro machineries. This is one aspect of smart farming. Another thing is precision agriculture, including applications of sensors, etc. Precision agriculture I have explained in a small way. And by here, main thing is we will monitor and management water quality, soil fertility, health of the crop, etc. So there should be some mechanism to monitor the crop directly from the field and develop the solution and apply it in the field or inform the farmer to apply. So these are the different aspects, two aspects. Data analytics is actually data analytics in digital extension sometimes helps to provide market intelligence also. This is a very tricky field and very risky field because this here even a small portion of FERA, the marketing intelligence, will put the farmers in a very difficult conditions. And supply chain and agricultural logistics, this is coming up in a big way. The blockchain technology, especially in marketing, and so that the quality to ensure the quality of the product and assuring farmers of the correct price, etc. And the supply chain agriculture logistics is another field. Then post-harvest food technology and value addition, development of device for assessing quality, grading, etc. Development of biodegradable smart packaging materials. Smart packaging materials means as whenever the material inside the smart packet undergoes some change, some degradation, that should be reflected in the pack itself. The smart packaging materials, some companies have already come up with some solutions. I know about some Malaysian companies have come up with some solutions in the smart packing materials. In India also, some companies are taking up this work. And waste, wealth, and clean energy, some from the waste product, how to generate wealth. So I don't know, some of you have recently heard about CTCRI's technology of producing spirit from cassava starch, tapioca starch. And that is actually, we are directly producing from that starch. But usually in market, it is produced from the waste starch. Waste means molasses. After producing the sugar industries, the waste molasses is the waste. From that only usually starch is liquor is produced, spirit is produced. And some of our scientists who are expertise in this field has already recommended that our cassava is also supporting cassava starch industries. Some waste is there from that cassava starch industry. From that waste, we should produce liquor. That is our new task which being thought of now. So this is another thing which I wanted to discuss, but I don't know whether time is available or not. Anyway, I will just give a brief introduction. A schematic action plan to make smart farming. This diagram explanation means it will take a lot of time. But anyway, the first and foremost thing is if we have to develop a centralized database. Centralized data means database of all farmers, fields, etc. You collect the information, you have to update in that database, so that then only we can start implementing. This I am talking about a sort of national level or a state level plan. This cannot be implemented by with a small funding source. Without government support, this cannot be done. So once that is done, another technically most important thing is development of virtual crops, because we are developing IT solution means we should know how the crop behaves in the field. So virtual crop is nothing but the crop simulation model. That's by developing the model, you should have some interaction with the crop physiologist. Based on the crop physiologist information only, we can develop virtual crops. The growth of the crop, which usually happens in maybe in 3 years or 4 years or 1 year or 15 years, you can simulate that 15 years growth in maybe in 2 seconds or 2 minutes in computer. For that one, you have to develop crop simulation models. Already, we have developed many crop models at the CTCRI. We have developed conducting experiments. So in this, what we can understand is under a given condition, how the crop performs. Then we can understand with the help of these virtual crops. First of all, we have to develop the virtual crops of at least some of the important crops before taking up a smart farming study. Yield gap analysis is another important thing as far as national level or state level planning is required. So each crop, say many of you may be familiar, at least all of you may be familiar with the crop of rice. So rice we are growing. So in a particular hectare, yield of rice is yield of any crop is usually told as represented as tons per hectare or kg per hectare, like that. Tons per hectare, we say. So rice we are getting an yield of maybe 3 tons per hectare or 4 tons per hectare. So actually the crop may be having a potential to give 7 tons per hectare or 6 tons per hectare, but we are getting 3 tons per hectare. This difference, 3 and minus 6 minus this 3, otherwise 7 minus this 3, this is called yield gap. How to reduce this? We have the strategies to reduce this yield gap at the lower input application. That is what we are doing in smart farm. And this yield gap analysis is not a very simple analysis. It's a very elaborate, not complicated, I won't say. It is a very elaborate study required. This is required mainly for planners. Based on this only, some investments happen in agriculture in developed countries. E-breeding. I think many of you may be having experience in bioinformatics. Bioinformatics, how it helps in breeding, you may be knowing. You will be able to come out with a particular desired sequence through your bioinformatics studies. And if our wet lab is able to produce that your desired genetic material or material with that particular genetic constitution, I think the breeding, otherwise the target breeding, will yield very high dividends, because if you want to produce suddenly, so rice average production is 7 tons per hectare. If you want to produce a rice with 70 tons per hectare, even though it may be an exaggeration, I just am telling 70 tons per hectare, whether there will be a good genetic makeup for that thing in a particular environment. If bioinformaticians are coming up in a way, and if wet lab biotechnologists are able to develop such a variety, it will be good. Because even though our land area is coming up by 10%, if our yield is increasing by 10%, that will be compensating that loss in area. Another is a real-time advisory. These are all parts of the smart farming. Some of the we have developed an IoT device called eCrop. This helps in giving real-time advisory also. And boosting production. Boosting production is the main target of smart farming. We will our attempt is to reduce the yield gap, and whatever is the potential of the crop, that we will realize in the field. That is ultimate aim of smart farming. And IoT device will collect the data, and it will be pulled in the cloud, and the analysis will result in solution, and the solutions will be implemented to increase the yield. E-market is electronic market which is operated through mobile as well as websites. Buyers and sellers are interconnected through the mobile, and logistics suppliers, many aspects are there. We have developed some apps. Last COVID condition, cities here has come up with 2 apps called Homes and Toms. Homes means horticultural online marketing system, and these are freely available. Anybody can register in that market to sell or buy vegetables. If you have to buy, there will be some sellers also should be registered in that particular market. We are trying to promote it. It has not come up in that way. Even though people are still struggling to sell and buy products, this solution is not adopted as much. E-market diagram. This is in some African countries. This is easily implementable. In places where it is difficult to go, difficult to approach, this drone can be used to deliver the farm inputs and collect materials. E-insurance is another field of smart farming by which crop insurance solutions we can provide. E-group is grouping of the farmers at the regional, national, and the levels, so that electronic or social media like WhatsApp, Facebook, etc., can be used. and farmers will get to know about the problems each other, and solutions can be shared. And this is actually, these things are implemented in West, in even some many African countries and some Asian countries also. So let us discuss about some of the smart farming initiatives of ICRCTC, right? So we have developed one IoT device. This is called electronic crop. This is the first IoT device of entire ICR. ICR is having more than 100 institutes. This is the first IoT device. And what it does is it collects data real time from the field, weather data, and this data will be uploaded to the cloud. And in the cloud, and cloud, the data will be analyzed, and the solutions will be generated. That solutions will go to the farmer's mobile as in the form of advisory. And it is single device can manage many crops. So this is installed in a particular field. This covers a lot of area. Sometimes in an entire village, if an entire village is having same weather, the same device is sufficient for the entire village. Only thing is we have to collect the soil and the soil moisture data from the different fields. That is the only variation happens. And another thing is crop models, that crop of rice, wheat, or whichever crop about which you want to give advisory, those models should be there in this device. And say if in a village an e-crop is installed, and the crops like cassava is there, rice is there, wheat is there, etc. is there, everything is there. Through there is a web interface through which we will update the details of each farmer, their crop, their area, etc. And each farmer will get advisory for their own crop according to their own conditions. If even though cassava is there, which is planted in March, he will get advisory for the cassava planted in March. If he has planted it in May, he will get advisory for the crop which is planted in May. That is how this device is developed and designed. It helps in smart farming by which production increase with a more efficient resource utilization. That is actually the next phase. The first phase which we will give advisory to the farmers, so that they have to apply. Our solution will be like you apply a nitrogen, say daily requirement of nitrogen is like this, daily requirement of phosphorus is like this, daily requirement of K is like this, and daily requirement of water is like this. So if they want to apply these things daily, they can do it. Otherwise, there will be an option for weekly application, the same quantity. If you want to apply once in a week, like that. It is not like a daily what is recommended into 7. It is not like that. Into 7 plus something will be there, because there will be some wastage in over the 7 days period. The system will precisely calculate that. And if you want to apply for the remaining entire season, there will be a huge quantity you have to apply. But you have to apply the quantities which are to be lost also. So the total quantity will be more. So like that, the advisory goes. This huge data is collected, and it will be analyzed through the ICT technologies. Application of artificial intelligence models are also now we have installed in this system, so that what it happens is now this system can learn about the crop. If this is installed in a cassava field and with some minimum intervention, it will learn about this crop, how this crop grows. If there was no previous model of cassava, this system learns and develops a crop model for cassava also. Compared to its counterparts, e-crop is having many counterparts are now already it is there. It is a single point solution for nutrient management, irrigation, plant protection, etc. Because it collects the basic data from the field. In the background, what is happening is the models to manage this data. Very simple and less costly tool compared to other methods, where establishment of automatic weather stations, sensor networks, etc. are compared. Like for an automatic weather station, it costs around 7 to 10 lakhs. But this device cost is just around 2 lakhs. 2 lakhs is sufficient for one village, I told you. Even if 3 devices or 5 devices are there for an entire village, 10 lakhs is not a very big amount for the entire village. It is easily upgradable because there are many more hardwares can be added to this device. The provision is there. And some of the features are more accurate yield forecasting happens because here we are collecting data real time from the field. And there is a model to integrate at the state, national, or regional levels also. If such the integrations are done, national level predictions or state level or regional predictions also will become more accurate. E-crop forecasts get pulled, and a farm level monitoring is possible because we are implementing and collecting data from the farm directly. And the future of the crop is actually prediction of the crop status will be informed by the farmer, even if he is away. If the farmer is in Gulf or US, he will get advisory about his crop in Trivandrum or Pathanamthitta in his mobile, and he can operate it also. And fertigation device integrated with it automatically apply these inputs. We have already developed that also. I will show you about that. And main problems targeted by this e-crop is, first we had to address the problem of low productivity. I told you earlier, but we had to what solution which we want to do in the present agricultural crisis is we want to increase the productivity. So here low productivity issue is taken care of, and wide yield gap. These are the two problems. These two problems are solved by this device. And usually what we do for increasing productivity, we go for breeding for genetic improvement. This is a long-standing solution. It takes a lot of time. Higher input application to reduce yield gap. These are the two things which is generally practiced. But here what is done is, one thing I think I forgot to tell you is that, say, those who are in agriculture field can understand easily that for a crop, we say that total we need, say, 100 kg nitrogen and 100 kg phosphorus and 100 kg potassium to get an yield of average yield of 30 tons per hectare for cassava, for example. And this has to be applied in two splits. Two splits means first at the time of planting, then after 1 month after planting. This is the way how we used to give recommendations. Here what happens is we get an average yield of 30 tons per hectare. But earlier I told you that crop has a potential to give around 100 tons per hectare. But with this application, we will not be able to get the 100 tons per hectare. What we have to do, daily we have to apply small quantities of nutrients till it's around the 70% or the 20%, 70% or 80% of its duration. Then we will get the 100 tons per hectare. And if you add the total nutrients supplied over this period, it's surprising to see that this will be 75, almost 75%, 50 to 75% of what was actually applied. This we have proven in our institute and conducted many trials. And minimum doubling or tripling of field. The tripling is happening, minimum doubling is happening, and in the field. So that is what I have shown here is a reduced yield gap. Yield gap is reduced. Reduced chemical and water application. Farmers' profit multiplies. Profit I won't say, yield I will take. Profit means it should be sold in the market also. That this is a technology solution. This doesn't give marketing solution. These things I already explained. I am not telling you again. Accurate yield forecasting and accurate early warning of pest and disease is possible. This is the model how we can integrate in the field level. Say this is a village. This is the e-crop device. So these are the smart fertigation devices in different fields. So this device will help in irrigating or fertigation. Fertigation means fertilizer and irrigation together in this entire field. So its control is in this device. This also is controlled by this one. If some more are there, all this can be controlled by this particular device. And its interface is in the web, it is available. Web on app also it is there. And in the agriculture law office, at each panchayat we have a Krishi Bhavan. It is officer is agriculture law officer. So in front of his system, he can get information about e-crop 1 is another two devices are e-crop 2. Under e-crop 1, there is a farmer. These are the crop. These are the yields forecasted. These are the advisories. This same e-crop 1, this is the another farmer. his details are there. So if he clicks this one, so he can get some more details if it is added. So this is about the village 1, this is about village 2. Now come to come to a block level. This is the block level officer screen. He gets the information block 1, crop, field focus. If he click this one, he will go to this information. When villages under this each block, he can monitor from the block. Like that, if you go up in the hierarchy, from the state level system, he clicks district, means whatever is happening in each district, he can. So he can come down to village, and actually by sitting at the state level monitoring cell, he can monitor each individual field. That is the advantage of pooling these devices at different places. This is just a model only, not implemented. We are implementing at a block level. So this is the smart farming system we have developed at CTCR, right? So this is the Iclc device installed in the field. This is the system. This is the control unit. And here what happens is it collects data from the field and directly go to the cloud, and the processing, everything happens. A sweet potato spotcoms model. This also was developed by us only years back. This is being used by 7 countries now. It is validated in different countries. Spotcoms model is used for giving advisory for sweet potato. What advisory generates? Advisory includes a level, quantity of water, N, P, and K. N means nitrogenous fertilizers, phosphorus fertilizer, potassium fertilizers. It should be applied to the crop at intervals of daily, once in a week, and for the remaining whole period. And once this advisory is generated, that advisory will reach this system. What does it do? The water from the tank is taken and mixed with the required fertilizer, because these are all different relays here. These relays will be operated with respect to the messages received here. That N, P, and K fertilizer and water, they will be taken and it will be mixed in a particular tank. Mixing tank is there. This is the mixing tank, and that will be delivered to this tube, to the drip irrigation system. So automatically these things are happening. We have set and we are leaving now. We are not monitoring. We need not monitor again daily, because system will collect the data. Data is processed in the web. Message will be generated at a particular time which we have set. That data will reach this system. System will do all this work. So this is the completely automated smart farming system. And when it is to be implemented in a field, what is the cost and these aspects we are yet to work out, because this is in the R&D stage of it. Because when we implement in this can be implemented means most probably in larger fields, and in small fields advisory level it can be implemented depending on the economics. After we are working out, we will be promoting this technology. These are some of the other works in the case of ICT and artificial intelligence we have done. One is prediction of intensity and time of occurrence of taro. Taro means in Malayalam it is called a chamber leaf blight. Ila karichil on this disease is called taro leaf blight. Its models are being trained using real-time data. We have already collected this data. Weather data also we have collected, and models we have developed, and models are being trained using more and more data, real-time data collected from the field. And image analysis studies on how cassava leaf color is influenced by different levels of N, K, and this study is also progressing. And computer simulation models of cassava and sweet potato and elephant foot yam we have already developed. And all these models are used throughout the world. Sweet potato model, I have just told you. Elephant foot yam is called chena. Cassava is tapioca or kappa or marichini we call. And the self-learning models of cassava. The self-learning models, I told you that the system will automatically develop model of the crop where the e-crop is installed. Whatever we have developed is we are using XGBoost algorithm of artificial intelligence to develop the model. This is the result of the self-learning model of cassava. Some data which we have collected from 1999 onwards, that was used to develop the model. And after that thing, we have trained that model with more data. These are the results. This is the result we have developed for data collected from Yettapur. Yettapur is in Tamil Nadu, near Salem. We have collected data for cassava. So see, this is the observations and prediction. As you know that, if in the diagonal means it is accurate. This is more or less accurate, 0.92% accuracy. This is 0.98% accuracy with the Trivandrum data which we have acquired. So this is the model which we'll be using now in our Iclc system. So this is regarding that taro leaf blight model which we have developed. From 2015 onwards, data was used. Here some around 10 or 20 data parameters we are having. Through recursive feature elimination, we have arrived at the most important 5 parameters. Using these 5 parameters, we have developed a model to find out the PDI of taro. PDI means pathological disease index. The severity of the disease is assessed using this index. And these are some of the data, some of the graphs regarding the accuracy. Some more data we are collecting because this is in the research phase only. Just for your information, I have shown this data. When we collect more data, I think more and more dots will be in this diagram. Other smart farming initiatives of ICRC, Iclc, I told you. There is another technology which we are actually now we are starting only, development of electronic pesticide, because that will be a solution which minimize the pesticide and other chemical applications. And other things are like virtual crops, like a sweet potatoes model, cassava model, Fafia model, and these are online markets, homes and toms, I told you. And here much artificial intelligence and such things are not there. This is some web technologies only used, but these are some web-based cassava expert system. Then variety finding tool. Here we are now using image analysis to find out this one. Then Aushadham and cassava protector. These are actually used by the farmers for finding a solution to their problems. And digital agriculture, usually what happens is it ends with giving advisories. Actually, of course, sometimes digital agriculture is perceived like that, but when we stop with that thing, in countries like India, what happens is considerable population of the farmers will not be able to adopt these solutions. But if the farmer has to adopt this solution, and this solution should benefit them, the planners and technology developers should think in a different way. Then only that is why we have thought of implementing the smart farming system, so that directly whatever solutions which found out by our system will be implemented in the field to increase the yield. And the empowerment of farmers by providing information on modern technologies, market information, etc., help them to make money. Because now we are concentrating more on this artificial intelligence solutions, IoTs and all. So what we are planning is to provide more and more marketing solutions to the farmers and alerts to the farmers and digital solutions through a very easy way of collecting data, the data through mobile or another simple means. When they collect data, they should get solution. That is the way in which we are progressing. Actually, we have reached some progress we have made, and some aspects I have already shown you also. And video of Iclc is available in our CSI website. And actually, I don't know whether I have taken more time. And thank you for your patient hearing. And now you can, if you have some queries, you can ask. Shall I stop sharing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing the research work which is going at CPCR, right? I have one question regarding this. You also specified ultimately the end user of all these products are farmers. So in a developing country like India, will the farmers accept such changes considering the cost of devices?
That is what I told you, that some of the solutions like Iclc, maybe you may be talking mainly about Iclc. This solution is not for individual farmers to adopt. The model of adoption which we are planning is that, say, in a panchayat level, if you want to implement 5, the solution should be adopted with the help of either local self-governments or other government bodies. Of course, big farmers, they can adopt, but small farmers handling these solutions will reach them, reach their mobile or some other in the form of advisory. But if the smart farming, full-fledged smart farming system I told you, that can be already there are some many farmers who are implementing this auto fertilization and all. For them, this can be used. For other small farmers, means their land area will be small. So even if we give advisory, you implement, you apply this nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium daily or weekly, it may not be that much difficult if they have some 10 cents or 20 cents, and if they are full-fledged farmers. They need not adopt any farm laborers for that. For small farmers also, this is an adoptable form. So we are now implementing it in a way in 5 villages, in 5 panchayats in Nadamangad block in Trivandrum district. And due to COVID condition, of course, there is some slowness in implementing. But there we'll be implementing, maybe in another 1 year, we'll be able to generate data and demonstrate it and do publicity in the media also.
Okay, there are some questions from our audience. Sir, is there any sensors to measure NPK values of soil? Jisha Joseph asked.
Very good question. I think you are already in the field. There is no sensors to estimate NPK, real-time NPK, but there is a startup company in Trivandrum which have already developed it. I think it will come to media. They will be commercializing it soon. In my knowledge, as far as I know.
And also, sir,
there is another thing is through website I have seen that there is some sensor developed by a Chinese company. I do not know about much, but this Kerala sensor, Trivandrum sensor is a reality.
Okay. Yes. So there is one more question. Interesting applications. How challenging it was to train the farmers to incorporate smart farming in their agriculture? I mean, those who are away from the smart world.
Because another 2 aspects are there. From my experience, I can tell you. One thing is people who are coming to me for smart farming are those who are really interested and those who can really adopt it. And another thing is for one aspect I shown is that cassava expert system. That was actually developed using the standard procedures by the one Kemp is there. An article of Kemp is there in Computer and Electronics and Agriculture. Some years back, an article has come. How to develop the smart farming solutions or farmer-based solutions. For that thing, first we have done is we have surveyed 5 villages we have adopted in different parts of Kerala, from Malappuram, Pathanamthitta and all. And we have pulled their meetings at different places and discussed with them. So what are the solutions? What are the problems we are facing? So they have come up with certain problems, and we have some agricultural extension experts also was there in my team. So they have ranked this problem. Their own standard methods are there. It is called a PRA technique, participating rural appraiser. Well, they have ranked it before them. The farmers themselves ranked, then our experts ranked. So after all these heavy exercises, we have developed a solution. We have developed a solution, and then we again went to them. We went to their field and asked them to implement it, asked them to operate it. They have operated it, and they have told us some suggestions. Some of the problems which we have discussed in our institute, assuming that these are the issues which the farmers are facing, that was not the real thing. Actually, farmers faced in different locations different problems. Some places their issue was the rat problem. Some other places it was price. Some other places it was some diseases there, cassava mosaic disease. And so that is why farmers are bothered only about the solution, whatever way it comes. And regarding the smart farming and smart solutions, and now most of the farmers are having mobile phone with them. Need not be a smartphone, but at least there, most of them we can say that at least one member of the family will be having smartphone. So when the solution is good and solution is giving them real solution to their problem, they are very enthusiastic to adopt. And our present experience from Nadamangad block is also like that only. When their problem, some of the issues are there which we cannot tackle, like my experience in Nirmangad is that their main issue is that pigs are encroaching their field and causing the damaging their crop. So that even though your crop you are going to install it here, that crop itself will be damaged by that pig. So we don't have the solution for that thing, even though it is there, like some deterrents are there and all, it is still to be validated. And that is the only conflicting part of coming. Otherwise, they are not bothered about whether the solution is smart or not smart. If it is easily accessible, means it is very, very easy to adopt.
So one more question. Could you please mention any examples of the smart farming technologies used in fisheries sector? Up to what extent these services are implemented in Kerala fisheries sector? The question by Shilpa Bhaskaran.
Okay. One which I have seen is last year. Exact place I don't know. In Palakkad district, and some hatcheries I have gone. There, one sensor is there. Sensor in which they will measure the oxygen level of that water in which the fishes are there. And after that, based on the sensor measurement, they will re-oxygenate it. And that type of a system was there. And their data was showing that fishes were more enthusiastic and growth was also better. That type of a system I have seen once. The fishery sector, I do not have much experience. So this is what one of my experience is this
one. This kind of smart farming and rice cultivation in Kerala, what about its practicality? This is a question by Manikanda Narnaya.
Can you please repeat, madam? I have not.
This kind of smart farming and rice cultivation in Kerala, its practicality. How much it is practical? How much it is practical with the rice cultivation?
One important two aspects I want to mention. One is that for implementing rice in rice field, the only model we have to implement is through local self-government system. We are actually planning to approach this local self-government to implement the schemes in different crops. Rice also the same thing. And in rice, another aspect is rice yield gap. There's a cassava, I told you, cassava's potential is 1,100 tons and we are getting around 25 to 30 tons per hectare. But in the case of rice, it is not like that. Rice yield gap is not that much. Rice yield gap is, but still that yield gap we can reduce. That means, say, if the potential is 7 tons, we may be getting 5 tons per hectare. So whether to implement, whether to spend money for increasing that 2 tons, that is a different thing. But another important thing is we can reduce that NPK application, that fertilizer application and water, we can reduce considerably. That is what our experience is. But specifically for rice, I have not conducted any trials, but this is the experience from the tuber crops. I can tell you that water requirement can be reduced considerably. And when this NPK application is also reduced, definitely yield will increase at the lower cost of production. And another thing is what I have told is all about the open smart farming, open field smart farming. So now what we are doing is open field smart farming. The vertical farming and greenhouse type of cultivation is there. But since generally people are following this type of concealed type of smart farming system, that is why I have adopted this open type of field smart farming system, because it is more easily adoptable. And other thing means that there will be more investment will be required. But the control type of cultivation means not only rice, for any crop there will be ample scope. But much research is not done in India in this aspect. But in some countries, like even in the UAE and some other countries, already such projects are being taken up. Because I am already in discussion with some companies, and already such works are already being taken up in UAE, Abu Dhabi, and all, where water deficit, water shortage is there. But under controlled conditions, they will be taking up. They are taking up these tasks. In Kerala condition, it is. I think I have answered this question, or
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And one more question from Sina George. So thank you for the wonderful session. Can you explain in brief the current trends of smart farming? How far the farmers can rely on these new techniques? The farmers have been cultivating with their generation transferred knowledge. Will they accept our solution of reducing the yield gap and go for the try? Again, this was actually there in my mind because when we proposed a smart farming proposal before our startup for the idea contest, the teachers from botany department argued this part. The traditional knowledge is there. You don't have to invest on data, and ചെടികൾ തനിയെ വളർന്നോളും. This was the comment I got from the teacher. നിങ്ങൾ ഈ സെൻസേഴ്സും ബാക്കി കാര്യങ്ങളും ഒക്കെ കൊടുത്ത് ചെടിയെ പീഡിപ്പിക്കുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്.
Actually, there are two aspects are there. One is we are actually not regulating the crop. Even that is possible. That I have not mentioned this thing. Even that type of work is also going on here. And in whatever discussions I have told till now is in which we have not modified the growth of the crop to any extent. And these models, simulation models which we have developed. Simulation models are all based on the crops temperature requirements and other solar radiation requirement and all. But by modifying this one in under controlled conditions, even you can regulate the crop. So there are, even in India, there are some companies in Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad, near Hyderabad, there are some companies which are regulating the crop growth itself. So among the different radiations in solar spectrum, some lights are having individual effects on the crop growth. So they are in controlled condition, they apply only that particular ray for a particular period, another ray for another period, another ray for another period, in which so at 3 months crop we may give a better yield maybe in 2 weeks. 3 months crop may be giving better yield in 2 months. That type of technology is also there. So these are the current trends. The trends are in world is changing very, very fast, and startups are thinking in a very, very extraordinary way. In fact, we are not modifying the crop. We are actually modifying the conditions for its growth only, and crop is not under any stress. Crop stress we are reducing. Crop stress we are reducing. That is what in my smart farming it is there. When it's each like for a baby, even if I am in my age, you see, in my age, the total food I have taken over these years, if you give to a small child, what he will do? Otherwise, you consider other things. So the food which an adult is taking in a day, if you give to a small child, he cannot take that thing. So what is required for the child in a day, that only food you give. Like that is what smart farming we do. Each day crop may be require 1 gram or 2 gram. You give only that thing. But for what we used to do, we calculate for the entire 1 month. 1 gram plus 1 gram plus 2 gram plus 3 gram, total 30 grams or 35 grams we do. So what happens in the first over the first 7 days itself, this 7 grams or something crop will take, and rest 23 grams will be lost to the lost. So rest 23 days crop will be under stress. So crop will not having any growth. That is why I told the potentially if the crop can the capacity to give 100 tons, it gives only 30 tons because 23 days crop is under stress. It will not have growth, proper growth. So after 23 days again we will be applying. So in smart farming, what we do is we do give the crop food 1 day, 1 gram, 3 gram, 5 gram, like that all the days. Crop will not be under any stress, because when people are starving, there is stress. When we are not starving, there is no stress. That is the principle which we are following for the crop in smart farming.
Thank you, sir. That makes sense as well. And optimal conditions as always required for any organism, no matter whether it is you or a plant. It is needed for its growth. Any other questions, or can we wind up? It's all.
So I am Babu.
Yes, sir. Carry on.
Other than these NPK issues and all, farmers are facing a lot of other issues to control the pesticides. That is, then pigs and other wild animals, they are all disturbing their cultivation. Because even in Trivandrum city, we find it very difficult to give away from these pigs. And again, if any studies are done on coconut in Trivandrum district, the yield gap is very, very high. Can you have some suggestion for the coconut?
Coconut, which aspect you're saying? Disease aspect?
Disease, mainly disease, because the total yield is very, very less when comparing with the other areas.
Okay, sir. Coconut, as far as I know, that CPCRA has conducted many studies, but they have not come to any solutions on the problems crops up.
No, actually, not, okay. Studies may be there, but in real problems, it is not addressed so far, it seems.
Yes, sir. I'm coming to that point. They have come up with a disease-resistant variety. That is what I came to know some few years back. But it is not gaining popularity. It is not getting popularity. But the main issue the farmers are facing is the price fluctuation. That may be the reason why. That is maybe the reason why that adoption change is also very slow. Adoption rate is also very slow regarding the new technology. Then we are developing technologies and giving the farmers, but unfortunately, the farmers are not getting good price. So when farmers are not getting good price, they will be reluctant to adopt new technology. So I think some with the disease-resistant variety. But still, I find only the conventional or traditional varieties are ruling in our state or different places. So deterring pigs and other wild boars and all. This I have already told. Actually, there are a lot of research happening in this field and different agencies. Last some few days back, I was also in an evaluation panel in KDIS. Out of the 100 or 70 or 80 solutions come to me. Most of them are about deterring pests, elephants, etc. Almost all are having the same idea, almost the same idea. That is deterring the pest after sensing the sound frequency. And the sound frequency or through image analysis and all. But Kerala Agriculture University also has come up with a solution to deter elephants. During night, by sensing through light, and such systems are already there. But these things are mostly in the validation stage. And another agency in which I am directly involved is through this NIT. We have already planning to do a research on deterring these wild boars. Wild boars, in fact, affected most even not only farmers, our research fields also affected. And some years back, on the entire experiment in UP, Uttar Pradesh, was damaged with these boars. So we are coming out with the solutions, and validations are going on mostly. And another technically speaking, the problem in deterring these pests and boars using the sound, the problem is they get easily acquainted with that new sound wave which we generate to deter them. So another solution should be sound frequencies has to be changed frequently. That is another solution. Anyway, we hope that in the near future we will be coming out with the new solutions. E-pesticide is another idea, another technology which we are developing, but yet to give results out because we are not in that stage. We are in the preliminary stage only.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And so I think it's already 7:20, so we can wind up. Let me give a quick summary about the discussion which Mitra sir has just shared with us. The idea behind smart farming and the possibility of increasing the yield, thereby reducing the food insecurity, was the major concern Mitra sir actually expressed during the initial stage. Basically, what we understood was almost all the sectors have a big transformation, and they rely mostly on data. And digital agriculture and the shifting of traditional legacy to data-based decision technologies have been in its reality. Finally, the success journey of their own crop device called eCrop and its utilization at various levels were discussed. So every Thursday, 6 o'clock, we used to share knowledge like this. Thank you so much, Professor, for joining us and enlightening us about the research which is basically happening on the agriculture sector, especially the digital agriculture.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much for the opportunity. You are muted.
Okay, so you know, in depth. Thank you so much.